to talk about the different bodies that we have because we are so multidimensional in this biological avatar. I also want to talk about the basic activation of divine light vibrations guided meditation and the sacred geometry behind that. Not because it's necessary to know what the sacred geometry is, but it's fun to know what it is. So then you're a little bit more aware of what's going on, and it tunes you more into being able to hear that voice of your divine soul knowing and to take that conversation to a deeper level. So the basic activation has got different steps to it. The first step is where you're just relaxing into yourself. And it is the first reminder for some, if you're just starting, it's an introduction to. Otherwise, it's a reminder. And this is a reminder that will take you deeper every time you're reminded of it. And you're just relaxing into yourself, and you're taking that step away from the hamburger paradigm that the collective consciousness of humanity lives in. And that's where good is above, bad is below, and we're all scrambling in between. And as long as we live in that hamburger universe paradigm, that's what feeds the power games. Because somebody needs to win, somebody needs to lose, because good is above, bad is below. And we don't want to be below. So let's scrabble. And the people that are below, that victim game, is they make someone else the tyrant so that they defend themselves. And in defending themselves, that lifts you up. It doesn't, but that's what the game is. Okay, so that's the hamburger paradigm. So that first step where you're just relaxing into yourself and you're recognizing that infinity is within. In the hamburger paradigm, infinity goes out, but we don't think about that infinity also comes from within, because divine light is equally everywhere present. So I call it the Big Bang, although the quantum physicists are kind of moving away from the Big Bang, but it's a module that you can work with. Boom, all of creation. And then you are thought into being by the all. So all of creation, it's a conscious universe. And then you're thought into being by the all. This is your initial sentient spark, what I call your divine soul knowing. And so you're in this flow. So this is all flowing around you. And as this sentient spark has experiences and it grows, and it's very much aware of its connection to everything it ever was, is, and will be. It knows how to look within and knows how to look outside. And it's always in a process of co-creation with the all. And then as it grows and understands this symbiotic relationship of this quantum entanglement with everything, it's also very much aware of its co-creating with all there is. Okay, so it's never an island. And so in the first step of the basic activation, I'm asking you to really contemplate this sentient spark of creation. And this is your cosmic consciousness, the very seed of your cosmic consciousness. And so I use the image of a flame just to give you your human ego intellect something to consider, or an image to work with at the beginning, to where it's pressing out, it's burning, it is creating. And then there's a ball of golden light around it, and that is the manifestation of this creation. This is the allowing this divine light, infinite intelligence, omniscient wisdom, and omnipotent unconditional love, allowing your human aspect to be aware of it, that it's manifesting through you. And so then that golden light moves up through your human soul, from your divine, through your divine soul, through your human soul, and then there's your divine heart and human heart. And then it spills out and it fills up all of your bodies and then fills the space around you. So let me talk about some of those different levels before I go into what step 2, 3, and 4 do with all of this. And I like the way my divine soul expressed it when I was writing Waymakers, the novel. If you think of this very center of you is your divine soul knowing. And then you've got your divine heart that surrounds it. But there's also that center spark of creation that is even deeper than your divine soul knowing. And your divine soul knowing, and then around that would be your divine heart, and then your human soul and your human heart. So light is going from this center out through all of these layers. Okay. And then the human ego intellect would be around that, trying to squish everything in. Okay. So if you look at it, that's one way of looking at it. When you look at it when in your body, then as light, as you're consciously allowing more refined vibrations of light to move through those different layers, and it's at a 45-degree angle. And I'll explain that 45-degree angle in a second. And it fills all your bodies. I talk about in one-on-one sessions with clients, and we use this in the light circle. I don't talk about it specifically in the basic activation meditation, but your divine soul will guide you to that, and it's happening anyway. But divine light, as it fills out, and you're concentrating on your physical body, because your physical body is the densest of all of these other layers of you, or all of these other dimensions of you. So you've got your physical body, and I ask you to just relax the different parts of your physical body, because then what that does is it evolves and activates even the cells in your body. And this is all vibrational. Okay. And you know you're allowing unconditional love to flow because it's kind of liquid gold, and you relax into it, and you'll feel an expansive vibration going on throughout you. But it's your physical body, and then there's your mental body. And you'll feel that as you're going through a shift and these vibrations are moving through you, you'll either feel crackling, or you'll feel a little headache, or, you'll feel where it's trying to push out. Because remember, it's pushing out, expressing outwards, center to circumference. And so that's your brain synapses disconnecting and reconnecting and finding new pathways. So just relax into that when that happens. But that's your mental body that's readjusting. You've got your emotional body, and you'll usually feel that up here in the chest, because energetically we store all of our human emotions kind of like in this torus field around us. And then we'll store it actually in our physical body, and that's where our physical body will manifest the disharmony, the yes, no, the conflict that's going on between the ego intellect and this pressing outwards that we're wanting to do. We're all made and designed to ascend and create, co-create, and grow in love. And then as humans, we're taught to resist that at all costs, because we're so busy looking outside ourselves. But that's a conversation that I've done on other videos. But so you've got your emotional body. I talk about the vocal body. And this is as light's moving through. If you feel yourself like choking up here, this is like you're wanting to open up and speak those words of love. These are all the words that you swallowed down that you didn't speak, or words of anger that you wanted to speak and didn't. But anyway, it's think of it as your vocal body. And then you've got your two soul bodies, your divine soul and your human soul, and these are layered. And you've got your heart bodies, and that's your divine heart and your human heart. And so a lot of times when people talk about we need to speak from the heart, that's the first step, is speaking from that human heart. And once you become accustomed to speaking from that human heart, and when you start to do that, and this is especially for somebody who's just starting off in their reawakening process, you're automatically going to be shifting your vocal body and your human heart body, and you'll be opening that up. And then once you open that up, then you'll go deeper. You can't jump all the way to the center without going through all of the different layers that you've created. That's what's really important. People like to pretend that they're already there, but you need to remember that you're not. And we're never, ever, ever all the way there. We're infinite from within and expressing outwards in infinite ways. It ripples out in ways. Now it will dissipate after a certain point, but that quantum entanglement, it feeds others. So whatever you're doing will ripple out. Whether you're giving love or you're giving hate, if you're participating in power games, you're letting that ripple out. If you're giving love and turning power games into bridges of understanding, that's going to ripple out. Again, remember the quantum entanglement. Back to the bodies. Then you've got your psychic body, and that's a whole different thing, and that's very much connected with the mental, and it's connected with the third eye and that whole body, and that has got different layers to it. And remember, all of these bodies have got different layers to it. I mean, when I say we're multidimensional, we are mega multidimensional. It's amazing. If we understood how absolutely amazing we are, we'd quit looking at each other in black and white. And then you've got your etheric body and you've got your light body. And so when we're really in the knowledge of infinite unconditional love, our light body is huge, huge, and it will emanate out. And so this is when the first step of the basic activation, when I say, let that light just even ooze out of the pores. Because what you're doing is that you're also nurturing the fact that you are also living in a light body. So this biological avatar is just a small portion, but a very important portion of what this human experience is. So those are all your different bodies. So the first step of the basic activation is really activating your awareness of all of these different levels of you. And then the second step is when, again, you're relaxing into your divine soul knowing, and it's not going to be that same space. Because if you did the first step and really allowed yourself to do it, when you relax into your divine soul knowing, it's going to be a little bit deeper, and it'll go a little bit deeper each time you do this meditation. And then what you're doing is that you're sending light, you're letting light move from infinity within up through your divine soul knowing, up through your divine heart and your human heart. And then with all the gratitude you can muster at that point, you're sending light to earth. You're sending your love to earth and you're receiving back in a two-way flow. And so what that does, if you truly are doing it with time and with practice, it opens up your human mind to this symbiotic relationship that we're in with Mother Earth. And it starts to let you appreciate, the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the food that you eat. And also, too, unconsciously, it keeps your body in the meridians of your body in alignment with the meridians of Earth. And those meridians of Earth are shifting. And then the meridians of your body are shifting also. But you see, if you don't consciously allow those meridians to shift, and you're always hanging on from an ego intellect point of view, you've got the meridians of Earth that are shifting, but you're not allowing that to shift. And it's kind of like the seasickness that people had when they would come on the ship, when I was working on the ships. And they would be terribly seasick because they were trying to get the ocean, the changing ocean, to calibrate with what they were accustomed to. And rather than down all of these seasick pills and put all these patches, I take them out on deck and say, look at the horizon, feel the movement beneath your feet. And I just want you to be in rhythm with that movement. And being in rhythm with that movement, the seasickness would go away. And they would look at me like it was magic and go, all of us like, how'd you do that? I said, I didn't do that. You let go. You let go so that you could be in sync with it. Okay, so if at any time you feel uncomfortable, just know you're trying to go back to that. Just come out on deck and be at sync with the ocean. Okay, so this is the same thing with these meridians within your body. So the first thing when you're feeling not at ease in your body is just send that love to Earth and be in sync with Earth. The third step of the basic activation, again, you're relaxing back into your divine soul knowing. And you are directing light and consciously allowing light to move through you to send your light to the heavens. And that's plural. This opens up your human ego intellect ever more and ever more. This is ongoing, okay, to the symbiotic relationship that we have with all of the dimensions of the heavens and all of the sentience that's out there. And then it kind of dances and aligns and comes back and surrounds the divine consciousness grid to come back and touch all living things, including us humans, and then it'll come back to you in your center. And with practice, what this does is, first of all, you're sending your individual creation song, your individual vibration of infinite unconditional love. And nobody sings your note in this great symphony of life. You're the only one that is supposed to sing your note in this great symphony of life. But it joins with all of the other notes. And then it activates this divine consciousness grid that surrounds the earth. Some people call it the crystalline grid. Sometimes some people call it the Christ consciousness grid. These are all different layers of the same grid, or different keyholes, or different lenses through which you're viewing it. And the lens that you view something makes a huge difference, because that colors your perception, and it makes a difference of which vibration you're going to dance on. But so now it's touching all living things. And so with practice too, it opens up your human ego intellect to understanding, again, this relationship, this dance that you're in with all of humanity. And then the last step of the basic activation is when you're relaxing again deep into your divine soul knowing, and then you're consciously becoming more aware from a human point of view of divine light flowing through you, through your divine soul knowing, up through your divine heart, your human heart. And then you're holding it there. It's the only time that there's a very specific breath to it. And then you're, with a little push, sending your light to the far reaches of the known universe and beyond, and allowing divine light to come in from the other side. So that expands your bubble of consciousness, or your sphere of consciousness. And also too, it opens up your mind to allow more refined light from the other side to come in. And basically, in expanding that, it expands your paradigm of thought. And it's your paradigm of thought. Now we're going to go back to that mental body. The mental body is what holds your paradigm of thought. So everything that you believe to be true, everything that you've discovered, it's within this infinite space. It's what your reality that you're holding. Now, as humans, we're taught to find other people who have similar realities. Okay? And that's what that social, what's the terminology for it? The social proof that your reality is okay. You know, we've talked about this in other videos, how we're taught to look outside and how the world mirrors back to us for our self-worth, instead of understanding that that is just simply a mirror, and people are only going to be able to see us through their lens. And so we're deciding what our sphere of reality is based on other people's lenses. That's just insane. If we can let go of that and look within and let light flow through that, on that fourth step, after the basic activation is done, you can say, I release any thought or idea or emotion that no longer serves me for my highest good and the highest good of all involved. And then you let light flow through that. And what it's going to do is it's almost like, if you remember, well, it'll take out that thread within the tapestry of any thought or idea that doesn't serve you anymore, and replace it with one that is more illumined. And that automatically gives you more emotional freedom to move. And it automatically will eventually bring you more clarity once everything is settled down. And it'll also give you automatically more courage to act upon these new thoughts and ideas. So you can let the light do the work, and then you also, it's very important that you put concrete action to it. So that's where the emotional body comes in. Because you see, it's in our mental body that we hold our reality, and then we decide what the thought is. That's the holding the thought. And then the emotional body is what feeds. It's like the gas to the engine. that'll help us put concrete action to whatever thought that we're holding. Okay, so now within this mental body, we have the conscious and subconscious. And so oftentimes we're only aware of our conscious, and our subconscious will fight it out. And those are, I talk about that in the Meet the Infinite You course, and I talk about it in other videos, but just these are all the different layers of you.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being interested in learning on how to live your light more fully and freely with emotional freedoms that you haven't even yet begun to dream of. And that gives you the courage and clarity to live your divine soul purpose. Now, just so that I play well with the algorithms here on YouTube, be sure to like the video. Please leave me a comment, because I do love more two-way conversations, and subscribe if you want to stay in touch with any of the new material that I'm putting out there.